choose me or your fire. Be mine or you will go. God have mercy on her. God have mercy on me. But she will be mine or she
That was epic, right? Does anyone remember that movie? Anybody? That was, what? Yeah. That was a clip from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. That was back when I was 12. Well, wait, hold on. I was 14. I forget. Anyways, it was a long time ago, okay? Just saying. I was 10, actually, now that I remember it. Anyways, unfortunately, in this movie, the priest represented evil, okay? And my mom was all like, I can't believe he was evil. They had a priest be evil. There's a reason why this particular priest was represented as being the evil character. His desire was not towards God. His heart was not really for God. He was a Pharisee in a sense. This priest was only about his image. His desire was that he look right, but still creep in that sin. In the movie, he succumbed to temptation. What was his motivation? Did he really care about God? Or was he just concerned about himself? And in the clip, it says, I am a righteous man. God, you know I'm right. You know I'm good. He was proud of his own righteousness, giving himself kudos. But temptation, how does it work? How does temptation work? What is the process of temptation? James chapter 1 teaches us where temptation comes from and how it works. Verses 13 through 15. When tempted, no one should say, God is tempting me. For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. But each one is tempted when, by his own evil desire, he is dragged away and enticed. Then after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. The priest blamed God and Satan for his being tempted. He says, it's not my fault, it is God's plan. He made the devil so much stronger than a man. But the Bible says something different about temptations. But each one is tempted when, by his own evil desire, he is dragged away and enticed. Satan can come in and try to justify our desires and try to make it seem okay to us. Those deep desires that we have that we know are not right. Those things that we struggle with, those problems, those sin issues. And he speaks to those specific areas of temptation. He wouldn't tempt me with liver if he knows I like pizza. Or broccoli if he knows I like chocolate pudding. Those are my desires. I want pizza right now. I'm a 2-year-old, I want those things. My sinful desires want that. My sinful nature wants that. And so Satan takes and he puts in the aroma of the pizza. And he puts on those commercials of those things that we want. And he lures us. He tries to tempt us. But those desires still lie within us. Those temptations, those desires, those longings still lie within us. How then can we serve God and love God with all of our souls if so deep in us is a sinful nature? What does that mean anyways? What does the word soul mean? The original Greek for this particular passage says that is the breath within a person, the vital, the thing that makes us live. Another definition by the dictionary, dictionary.com, The spiritual part of human, the soul is the spiritual part of humans regarded in its moral aspect, or as believed to survive death and be subject to happiness or misery in life to come. Another definition, the essence of a person. That is to say, to love with your soul is to make a conscious decision to love. Loving God with all your soul is different than loving him with all your heart, in that it involves your attitudes and your emotions and your will. That's the big part of your soul is your will, the will of a person. So loving God with all your soul means choosing to do what's right over what comes naturally from your sinful desire. Having the right attitude, choosing not to hate, but being devoted to love. Okay, I have an illustration from my own life, okay? So, the first time I ever cheated on a test, just guess. Okay, don't guess. I was in 12th grade, all right? I was a senior in high school. I knew all the right things. I was a good kid. I had all right grades. Okay, all right grades, but whatever. So I was in 12th grade. I was like 18 years old, and I was wanting to pass this test, and I was like, I need to pass this test. I have to. It's essential for my success. Okay, so I come in the room, and I'm sitting beside the smartest girl in class, and I'm like, okay, I shouldn't do this, but... And so I just start peeking over, right? I just peek. I'm like, I'm just going to see what she says and kind of debate in my mind whether it's right or not, you know. Like multiple choice. I don't know, you know. I will call a friend, you know. So yeah, it was all right. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire does that, you know what I mean? So I kind of like went through it in my mind. I was like, we're really good friends. We're basically have the same head and mind anyways. We're awesome. We're tight. No, we weren't. We weren't really close. Anyway, she was really smart. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I start cheating off of her. And so I'm like, I can't stop. I'm like, oh, this is so easy. I'm like, this is amazing. So anyways, I get to the end, and the last letter I remember is A. And I like put the letter A on there. And I'm like, and then I put my pencil down, and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, I just did something really bad. You know, and I start thinking about the consequences of my actions and how, wow, I can't hand this in. I can't. But I was thinking, I can't just get a 0. I can't not hand it in. That would be ridiculous, and I would look like a fool. Anyways, so everybody hands their test in, and I'm like sweating. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm like looking like an idiot. I'm like looking at people. I'm like trying to go. I'm going up to the front of the desk, and I'm going to hand it in, and I'm like this, and I set it down like this. So I'm just looking at people, and I'm like, I must look like an idiot, okay? So I'm like handing the test in, and the teacher's like, thank you, and I'm like, and so I'm like, okay, I cheated, just so you know. I was like, I cheated off of Mitzi. And she had just graded Mitzi's test, so she's like, and I'm like, and so she's like, oh, good, you can have 100 then. And I'm like, so she puts a stamp on there, and a smiley face, and 100%, doesn't even look at my test and passes it off. And I'm like, wait, what? And everybody's looking at me at this point, and I'm like, did that just actually happen? And I'm like, and I do a double take. I look at her, and she's just smiling, and she just keeps going. And I'm like, holy cow, why did that just happen? I did not deserve that A. I did not deserve that 100%. Mitzi deserved that 100%. She studied. I don't know what I was doing the night before, but probably not studying. So, anyways. If I was anybody else, I probably would have not learned something from that. But I knew in the depths of my soul, I knew from growing up in the church, I knew from being around God, from knowing God's heart that was wrong. I knew in the depths of my soul that was not what I should have gotten, and that I deserved so much less than that. I deserved a 0 and a smack on the hand for that. But for some reason, she chose to show me mercy. I don't know why. But it taught me a big lesson, you know what I mean? Even that, because I knew in my heart of hearts, with my soul, that it was wrong, what I did. So how can we love God with our souls? James chapter 1, verses 21